find you a bucky.
It's not a bucket. It's a Hilux.
iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. Africa America, amaqela ase-Africa, Esperance de Tunis, Alali from Egypt, Wydad Casablanca, Dima Wydad from Morocco, and then Afrique du Sud is Mamelodi Sundowns, Afrika onke angenabulisa aphuma ngomnyango sifokofesa onke ke sobayi-4 amaqela ase-Africa. Kodwa ke siqhwabele izandla ke iMamelodi Sundowns. It's Mamelodi Sundowns 0, Fluminense from Brazil 0 as well. Not an interesting game. It's 11 o'clock at night in South Africa. Really mild. It's very cold actually in Johannesburg as well. All 4 African teams were in and then they were out. Fortunately for us, the one that belongs to us, the South African team, gave us moments, the highs and the lows against Ilsan Hyundai, and then of course against Borussia Dortmund. Would they win? Would they come back? They almost won, but they lost. And then in this one, that was anticlimactic. That was the worst game. Not necessarily like worst, but it's like if you compare with the first 2 games, that was the worst performance. Really, there wasn't much in the way of creativity, but that's literally the only shining light from Africa, Mamelodi Sundowns, from this tournament. Lindo Pep, take it away, sir. What did you make of the game and the impression overall of the tournament?
Yeah, Nkulego, on the other video.
We've been here.
We've been here. Yeah, Mr. Nkiu. We don't want to win hearts, we want to win football games.
But you are not going to win the Club World Cup. Don't be ignorant. Whoever says that, you're not going to win the Club World Cup. You're not going to win the Club World Cup. An African team has never won the Club World Cup. When I was 20, TP Mazembe went to the final. They lost to Inter Milan when I was 20 in 2010. That was the best performance in the Club World Cup. Other than that, maybe in the last 20 years or the last 15 years, I win Africa. There's a gap between African sides and European sides. It's ignorant to think that our African teams would go there to win.
Yeah.
We were just there to gauge the gap. Where are we? But if Pirates were there, I would say the same thing. Where are we? Because it's we. It's South Africa. And even the North African teams were there to check where are they in terms relative to the big teams. And even that is even misleading because most of the European teams were playing on walking pace to manage against the weather. So sometimes because Sundowns were close to Borussia Dortmund, we could be fooled into thinking that we were close. But it's because Borussia Dortmund were walking. Like, they're managing, it's too hot there, they have to put the sprinklers on and all of that. But anyways, sorry, I'm taking your time, sir.
Yeah, no, I think every coach was complaining about the weather. I think the weather was a huge performance factor. But Nkulego, I have to say this. There's a line, "Umatiki 2 shoes, I'll shy." And that's the first thing that comes into my mind when I think about the Mamelodi Sundowns. Mr. Nkeo, they found us. Now they know that we're living soft. Now they know that South Africans, now they know that there's football. And not just football, there's heavy investment in football. And we are people that are very passionate about football. I think what this institution has done is it has given us a story of hope. It has given us a story of belief. Because I sit here as an analyst and I see us in future doing these games, maybe somewhere in the Club World Cup. It has opened certain doors for a lot of people, given opportunities to the players. I see even Miguel Cardoso is getting a lot of praise from
getting interviews
from international
Europe.
media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but what's important more than anything in this Mamelodi Sundowns 3 games that I want to speak about is actually the style of play of the football club. I think the coach, even in his press conferences interview, that's the first thing he's emphasizing. That I know that we are the biggest drivers of this, that you cannot lose your soul to win football games. And that's the message that he's sending to Mamelodi Sundowns fans. That's the message he's sending to the world, that Ishushaine in piano. Actually, he describes it different. He says the reason why they say piano is because the hands are closer to each other. So that influences the short passing game. And then the reason why City Shoe is clean is because you need to play a clean passing game. He understands.
That's a reasonable explanation.
Reasonable. And I think he explains it according to his own understanding. The biggest thing with him, I feel, is when he came into the club, he was so under pressure to win the league, to win the CAF Champions League. I think in his first meeting, they said, you need to deliver. You've got the tools. So he went into that club not implementing what the club wanted in terms of style of play. It was his philosophy against what the profile of the players. So as a coach, we know this, Nkolego. Those two must link. Your game model and the profile of the players, I feel like it took him longer. It took him time. It took him time to understand what is demanded at Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns is the only club that's almost similar like Barcelona, where there's a distinctive style of play. For us, Shushain and Piano, the soul of that football club, there's a reason why even the profile of players that we bring at Mamelodi Sundowns are not really the kind of players that are sometimes good in the eye in terms of being flying, very technical, properly developed, very good professionals. They understand how to execute, very coachable football players. But overall, I believe that in this game, start of the game, Mamelodi Sundowns started very, very well. And Tasrik Matthews needs to learn to be composed. I had said initially he's a national team asset, but he's going to have to learn very quick, the boy, because the boy has been given so many chances at Mamelodi Sundowns to play. The coach believes in him. You can see the club believes in him. They start the boy even when there's so much quality on the bench. The club let go of Futem Nkosi Lodge in January because I believe that him and Kodisang were the two players, because the coach did say that I can't work with a big squad. So he's one of the players that the club believes in. I believe that he does have the potential, but he needs to come down. He missed a big sitter in the final of the CAF Champions League, does the very same thing in a game of consequence. In a game of consequence, you need to score. Another players that I want to talk about is Umshishi or Marcelo Allende. In my opinion, they played very safe. They played very safe. We cannot have, Nkulego. For me, let me start by saying this. A midfielder should be a complete player. Marcelo Allende, I love him. One of the best midfielders we have. Why am I saying that? Because he's technical. Our league doesn't have technical players. I'm a technician. But my bigger point is, I haven't seen him take a shot outside the box.
He's a master of backward passes. He's a merchant of backward passes. He masters them. He even turns for them, and he plays to his number 5. Like it did it maybe between 5 and 10 times. Just go back, pass it. Like he's mastering that.
Nkulego bengicela shot on target. Bengicela a forward pass. Bengicela join a boxing. Can I see a final pass closer to the box? For me, Umshishi is one of the best players we have in the league, playing closer to the box. For me, in my opinion, there's two things. The coach played him a little bit deeper, also playing very safe from Shishi. Receives the ball, Shishi plays sideways. He will never give him a sideways option. Very safe from Shishi, and that's unlike him.
Let's try and consolidate the opinion. Do you genuinely feel like you should have won this game now that you're out? Then we want to cast our eye on how was the tournament. Because you're out, like there's nothing that's going to happen. I looked at this thing as a pre-season tournament, basically from my perspective, as I watch it, because there's a lot of walking pace football there. You've mentioned the things that you didn't like. Do you feel like you genuinely stood a chance to win?
Today?
Yeah.
For sure. I think we played very well. Didn't dominate the game, for sure. But we played in patches. We played in moments. For me, Mamelodi Sundowns deserves to go to the knockout stages. I believe that in the 3 games that we've played, I think we are one of the teams that deserve to. In terms of style of play, in terms of professionalism, in terms of application, I believe that we are one of the best teams in the tournament, in terms of how, in the group stages, I mean to say. Because the tournament is still going to proceed, of course.
You are the best African team.
For sure.
I don't know about best generally, because I do think there was a lot of walking, like especially with Borussia Dortmund. That 4-3 was kind of misleading, but of course I was proud of it, the 4-3. But I'm looking at the European teams and the way they applied themselves. Today I do think that there was not too much of a gap between you and Fluminense, actually, interestingly. But maybe that also, there's always some context.
Football-wise.
Maybe it's because Fluminense didn't have to win.
But I also feel,
like
this is just a feeling.
If Fluminense had to win, then maybe we would have seen a different team. But you were not out of this game. You could have won it if you applied yourself, but you didn't do anything much in terms of, the goalkeeper didn't have to save much, nothing much in the 90
You know what I
minutes.
want to say, Nkulego, actually? Well, now that you're asking me this question, this has not been a good tournament, football-wise. Marketing and all of that, because the heat is a performance factor. It's a pre-season tournament. Some of the players have had a very long season.
It was a long season, yeah.
Some of these players also played the Champions League. Most of these players have played 50 games plus.
Sundowns were in the final of the Champions League.
50 games plus.
PSG were in the final of the Champions League. So it's at the end of the season. That's why, for me, like if you take this thing too seriously, you don't really understand football, because it comes at the end of the season. We kept on saying that even in other competitions. With Ipeli season, the way we even ended Ipetwe Premiership, we look at Pirates, that was the best team with Sundowns, of course. But as they ended the season, you could see there's a decline because everyone was tired as well. Maybe let's have a look then. I'm over these games. Let's have a look at how Sundowns performed here. What message did they send to the world about South Africa? And also, do you expect to lose any players here? Because I think even after the Dortmund game, after beating Ilsan Hyundai and the Dortmund game, you kind of felt that if Ribeiro is still in South Africa, then you would be surprised. What do you think about the players' performances on the tournament and maybe even the representation of South Africa by Sundowns?
Yeah, no. From a South African team, I think exceptional. Kulego, the most important thing is the display of football that we played. Some impressive performances. Grant Kekana, Cupido, Lucas
It
Ribeiro.
was a surprise, Jupiter, because he
Cupido
didn't
was
play
really
this
good.
season, but he played here.
Yeah, Lunga was good.
Yes,
Mudau was
yes.
good as well. I have to mention Reyners. I think he's a shining light of our tournament.
He's a very good finisher.
Very good striker. A striker that can play as a lone striker, Nkulego. Doesn't always need his surrounding around him. But to be honest with you, this says something. This has raised the standard of South African football. This has raised our ambitions. For me, when you speak Mamelodi Sundowns, you speak
You
ambition.
see, the problem I have with that statement is that it only raised Sundowns' standard. I don't think, you see, you said it last week, actually.
Yeah.
That was one of the best points I've ever heard. You said there's so many different trophies that one person can win one trophy after 4 matches. They're happy with themselves. They're content. I agree with you that this, you see yourself in the world being shared by global media. I was listening to TalkSport. They mentioned the name of your club.
Yeah.
You see, you get proud of that. But I think it helps Sundowns more than it helps South Africa as a whole. Because you guys keep on raising your own ceiling. You've won the league 8 times in a row. No one is coming close. We're encouraging Pirates to get close, and they are. But unfortunately, still a 12-point gap. So it's good for Sundowns, definitely. But I don't know if it is good for... Of course, it also benefits Bafana because 9 of those players will play for Bafana. But in the league, it just creates a further disparity because that's your new benchmark now.
That's the thing, Kulego, because the teams that we're actually talking about, the first conversation should be winning the league. That's the first start because for me, Mamelodi Sundowns has 15, they've got 4, both of them. And I think that's the first conversation. You have to, and this is why we need to put pressure on them next season. You have to win the league. You have to win the league. And for
But
me,
if they win the MTN 8, which starts at the beginning of the season, just like it happened with Pirates last season, win the MTN 8, that was the only thing Pirates won, but they had a great season.
I'm expecting them to win the MTN 8.
What I'm saying to you is you will win MTN 8, then we go to Culling, you win Culling. If you're Chiefs or Pirates, one of those you win. I think to them, that's it. Like, you see, like, because it's too long.
Yeah.
Like, for Chiefs, it's been 10 years without the league because they last won the league in 2015. For Pirates, it's even more because I think it was 2012 when they last won the league. But in between that, there are smaller trophies that people are satisfied with, you know, whereas you go to Champions League, test yourself. You fire coaches when they don't win the Champions League. And then you go to, now, this is a new benchmark. You're like, now, Club World Cup, because this raises the profile of the club. Now people are going to ask EA Sports, where is Sundowns on your game? Literally, people are going to ask that. On your game, why can't we play with Sundowns? Because they were at the Club World Cup. You know, even if FIFA does something with a commemorative game of a Club World Cup, they're going to include Sundowns. So that's your new ceiling for you, a new benchmark. But that's you being alone. But anyways, please complete your point.
Even monetary value-wise, Mr. Nkem,
Yes,
I think it contributes. But also, I just feel like football players, certain players playing in this competition, more especially younger kids from Pretoria, from Soweto, from East Rand, from Cape Town, now they've got desires of wanting to play for this incredible football club. And if Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs can get closer to even competing for the league, I think that South African football is in the right space. And with Mamelodi Sundowns, I just want to say, Nkulego, credit to the chairman and credit to the president of the football club because he had a vision when he came into this football club. He had said that he wants this club to be a global brand. And today I can say, Chairman, you achieved your dream. Your club is a global brand. We have an opportunity, Mamelodi Sundowns, to be spoken to by a journalist, now Kwazuku's Sky Sports, and so forth. And some of these players that you brought into this football club, you invested heavy. I love the fact that, Chairman, you are paying those players rightfully so. I know there's mesh bonuses, I know there's benefits. I know that that football club is one of the most well-run institutions. We are benefiting from Amanda 17, under 20, the national team. And for me, waking up every day knowing that the football club is playing a Club World Cup is an incredible achievement. And I just hope that Mamelodi Sundowns fans, moving forward, I know it's expensive to go to the stadiums week in, week out, more especially with how Mamelodi Sundowns is playing every after 3 days. But I'm hoping that there will be an effort put in terms of making sure that we do make Mamelodi Sundowns a team that fills the stadium. Credit to Miguel Cardoso as well, because an intelligent man is allowed to change his mind. I always say I make more mistakes than anyone. I love the fact that he came and he said, the most important thing at Mamelodi Sundowns is the style of play. This club has been successful in winning leagues, winning cup competition. We reached the CAF Champions League final, but we had to come here with a mission. And I think he achieved whatever that he wanted to come here. For me, we are living here as, like I said to you, they found us. Now they know we are living soft, Mr. Nkeo. And I think that's the greatest credit that you can give Miguel Cardozo. And thank you very much to Mamelodi Sundowns. It's been an incredible club.
There you go. Thank you so much. It's on a day on a day and a week where it was confirmed to Angelo Chiklas, the former co-owner of Mamelodi Sundowns that recently passed away in an accident. It's supposed fitting for Sundowns to be wrapping up their campaign at this major tournament for the first time. This version of the Club World Cup being played, and of course, kuthiwa ke xa kuvulwa umnyango ngumntana usana lungena emhlabeni liye liphehlelele loo ndlela yalo ngumuntu oswelekayo. It's quite symbolic actually that Sundowns loses their former owner around this time as well. Rest in peace to Angelo Chiklas, the former owner or co-owner of Sundowns. Sazi ke into yoba sazi thina sililizwe uNatasha Chiklas kuyafumaniseka into yoba ngosasebancinci ke ingabantu abatshatileyo abo ababekhokhela iMamelodi Sundowns. Yathengwa ke ngoku sisinana uPatrice Motsepe, ugqirha uPatrice Motsepe. Ngoku ke iMamelodi Sundowns ibidlala kwi-Club World Cup. Sibulele kakhulu ke kubantu abasibukeleyo namhlanje. Sawubuya ke kule izayo iveki. Mhlambe kwabe kukho indaba zimbi. Sabuya sincokole ngenhlebendwane eyenzeka ebholeni kwinyanga kaJuly kule veki zayo sizabe sisondela ke kwi-season entsha. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times, World Sports Betting. For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za.
Shapunjan bafowethu igama lami Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiskiTV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Villagazi, they call me so. Niyazi bafethu, Amakhosi for life, they are back in winning ways. Please, siyacela ukuthi subscribe iDiskiTV.